Hello and welcome to a CBK gaming video. Join us as we discuss and review Zombicide Green Horde. So, what is Zombicide Green Horde? How is it different to Zombicide Black Plague? And why does it belong in your collection, especially if you have Zombicide Black Plague? So to begin with, Green Horde is exactly that. It's orcs, green orcs. They're stronger, tougher, meaner than the standard zombies found in Black Plague and the wolves in Wolfsburg. The runners, the goblins, are pretty simple. They still have multiple activations, they only do 1 point of damage. The walkers, however, do 2 points of damage, whereas the previous walkers in Zombicide Black Plague did 1, and the fatties do 3 points of damage. The Orc Necromancer does 2 points of damage. So it's a much more difficult game to deal with the damage dealt by the zombies. However, there are some things which help you. There's the trebuchet, where you can actually get to the trebuchet and use it. You have multiple options which can do various amounts of damage to a target location. That's quite good fun, but then there's the nasty element of the horde. As new zombies come onto the board, you also place zombies on the horde. And at some point you will draw a card that brings the horde onto the board where you picked the card. That can be devastating, but you can minimize that risk by using the trebuchet to hit the horde board that's off the main board. There are also hedges. If you jump over a hedge, you don't see what's there, you have to roll a die. Depending on your result, you may find an orc walker. There are barricades that you can put up that will divert the zombies away from that direction. However, if they have no other option but to go through that route, they will destroy that barrier. There is also water. Now that impedes the player's ability to move. Does not affect the speed of the zombies moving through the water, but there are some areas of deep water that the zombies cannot move out of. I cannot think of anything else off the top of my head that are different, that are different rules from the main set.
No, I can't. I think they're the main differences.
You do have, of course, with the horde box, you have a ballista, you have a dragon, you have a giant, you also have a giant playing character, you have a lot of new characters to play and extra miniatures. They're fun to play. The base game is fantastic. The quality of the miniatures, it's CMON, they're good quality.
Yeah.
I think they're better quality than Invader. I prefer the figures to Invader. Whilst I like the miniatures of the Invader and I like the play style, they're so fiddly, and you pick up one model, you pick up about 3 or 4 you didn't mean to pick up. And who doesn't like orcs? I know our friend Liz would love this just because it's got orcs in it. No, I don't think there's an orc player character though, so she might be disappointed. It's got a bit more of an urgency to it than Zombicide Black Plague. But do you need this game if you have Black Plague? And I think the answer is no. The gameplay is so similar that having either one of them is you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Why would you want both, like we have, and I'm pretty sure plenty of people do? You've got those slight little add-ons, but the fun comes in other people creating scenarios with mixing all the boxes together, mixing the extra player characters, and it's quite a good laugh, but it's not a necessity. Just like having the Horde box and the Kickstarter expansions and add-ons, they add something to the game. That's something I don't think is justified for the extra cost. The base game is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's good fun. The extras that do make a difference with this game are the barricade and the hedges, simply because you can use those in other games. I don't know many games that have the barricades. We enjoy using them. We use them in Conan. We use them in role-playing games that we run. We've got miniatures on the table. We also like to add them to Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. And we utilise quite a lot of items in across various games.
But also, just in this one, it brings the board to life even more. And it's lovely because when you are jumping over hedges, you can actually picture yourself, is there going to be an orc the other side of there, rather than just a token, to have that 3D piece of hedge.
I know what you mean.
I really enjoy it, yeah.
Yes. Why would you buy it? Because you enjoy Zombicide, you like the series. As I said, I don't think it's essential. If you've got Black Plague and you're looking for something slightly different, this isn't where you need to go. I would suggest that you look at Invader, which has a very different feel to it, different characters, and different mechanics. This is all very similar.
I myself see this as the sister game to Black Plague. Black Plague is in town, you're fighting the zombies, and when you're done with that, you realise that the fight against the living dead is further. And so you branch out into the countryside and into the next villages.
Yes.
And that's where you then come into the Green Horde side of it. And they've changed, they have changed enough things that you're not repeating yourself just on different boards. You've got the ballista and the trebuchet and the Horde tile, which does make it different enough, but the base rules are still there. You can interchange the characters. So you can, if you want, you can run almost a campaign and take your characters through into the countryside.
Yes.
But as you said, it's not different enough to be a completely separate game. In my mind,
it's an expansion.
It's
a large box expansion for Zombicide Black Plague. That personally, I really enjoy playing. I'm really pleased we've got it. If I'd missed out on the opportunity to get it, would I be disappointed? Not really. I think I would have been with Invader, and certainly the Western one that we've backed recently. I think they add different elements. I'm glad and I hope that they look to add a campaign element to Zombicide Black Plague that incorporates everything in Black Plague, Wolfsburg, Green Horde, Friend and Foe, and the other one that eludes me.
the ghost.
With the ghosts and things, yes.
Yeah.
No Rest for the Wicked, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah.
What do I think detracts from the game? Nothing really. You know what you're getting with CMON. It is good quality. The cards good quality. The actual game tiles, they're all well made. I do find that they bow on a wooden surface, but that's humidity in the air, etc., etc. No, I don't think there's much you can fault about this game. It looks good on the table. It certainly looks good when you have a big pile of the tiles and it's a massive game. You've got all the barricades down, you've got the hedges down. Games themselves take from anywhere between half an hour to 2 hours, depending on the size of the game. 6 players is always good. On top of that, there's rules for 7 and 8 players that make the game a little bit more interesting, especially with the Horde, because it more likely brings more figures onto the board, more threat.
And it becomes a bit of a balancing game, doesn't it? Because you're constantly watching that Horde tile and how big it's getting, and when's it going to come onto the board? So do we need to deal with that and get people onto the trebuchet and start firing over and dealing with that? Or do we need to deal with what's already on the board? So you've got that sort of panic and that urgency in the game, and that balancing of who's going to go and try and get the objectives, because you mustn't forget those. That's the whole point that you're playing. But at the same time, we've got to kill the zombies and deal with them before they get to us. And so you do find a nice balance, and it kind of pushes the cooperation a little bit more, I find.
The only thing I would say that differs between this and Zombicide Black Plague, I think the items are a little bit more balanced in Green Horde. In Black Plague, you can feel as if some of them are quite overpowered. I don't find that in Green Horde, and maybe that's just how we've been playing, or the randomness of the cards. But it does feel as if they've tempered the game a little bit more. And if you were only going to get one of these games, and you had the option of Black Plague or you had the option of Green Horde, I would say that Green Horde gives you more of a challenge than Black Plague. And I would opt for Green Horde, but then I would miss the characters that I like playing in Black Plague. However, as we say, they are so similar. Yeah. If you see it as we do, as an expansion, and want to get both, then I would understand that. But there is, as I say, there is no need. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about Green Horde?
I think we've covered all the bases.
Yes, I think
it is still a very enjoyable game, though.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, all that's left is for us to say thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing. It does mean a lot to us, and the more we grow, the more that we can start to look at some other games. We do try to bring out a video a week, and we don't always manage that, but we are pushing to do so. We've just filmed our first 5-minute Friday, which will mean we'll be doing once a month on a Friday. We'll be releasing a 5-minute review of a quick party game. The first one is going to be Dungeon Mayhem, and that will be out shortly, so keep an eye out for that. It'll always be towards the end of the month. And I'm working on the war game reviews, and I want to work with Chris on getting that done. So thank you very much. Keep watching, and when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway. Not sure what it's going to be yet. We have a couple of ideas. We've got some nice things that are left over. Personally, my thought is village attacks with a packet of the tokens, the special tokens that they had. So we will put that up as we get closer to that 1,000 mark, just to encourage those numbers to
So if you know anyone who hasn't subscribed yet, get them clicking that button.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.